Javier Aguirre once again finds himself at the center of a storm that he himself, through measured silences and cautious gestures, has allowed to grow. Every defeat, every sign of stagnation, every vague speech after a negative result fuels the feeling that the coach is keeping more to himself than he should. And in an environment as turbulent as Mexican football, staying silent can be interpreted as complicity. Every defeat, every sign of stagnation, every vague speech after a negative result fuels the feeling that the coach is keeping more to himself than he should. And in an environment as turbulent as Mexican football, staying silent can be interpreted as complicity. What the current state of the national team reveals is not just a simple football slump, but the accumulation of shortcomings that Aguirre himself knows better than anyone. The roster he has before him is not what it once was. There are talented players, but also others who fail to adapt to the demands, who crumble under pressure, or who seem unable to grasp the magnitude of the jersey. Even so, the coach avoids pointing fingers clearly and opts for ambiguous statements that don't reveal the true scale of the problem. Beyond the pitch, Aguirre knows perfectly well the networks of power that sustain and sometimes sink Mexican football. He knows who really commands, who pulls the strings, and who decides what is said and what is kept quiet. He also understands that the structure he should rely on is corroded by interests, internal conflicts, and unfulfilled promises. The coach has been inside the system for too long not to see it, but he chooses not to confront it publicly. And then there is the pressure from the owners, the television networks, the executives who demand immediate results while blocking real processes. Aguirre, a shrewd and experienced man, knows those labyrinths, but what he keeps quiet about them is perhaps what most fuels the perception that he is tied down by commitments that go beyond sports. The silence becomes heavier when added to the emotional wear of a fan base that no longer knows what to believe. Caught between accumulated frustration and the persistent hope that this World Cup will be the one, the supporters live trapped in a cycle of excitement and disappointment. Aguirre knows it, feels it in every stadium, but still doesn't dare to sound the alarm openly. The question is whether he stays silent out of conviction, fear, or because he still believes he can pull off a miracle in 2026. What is certain is that the more he withholds his thoughts, the greater the distance becomes between him and those waiting for answers. And perhaps, if he decided to speak with the honesty so many demand, he would discover that the truth, even if painful, could be the first step toward rebuilding something that stopped working long ago.